Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, Big Funk. Thinking right out here in my lab in the wee hours of the morning, in a nice quiet where I like it, doing what I do for you. Today, I got a good lesson. We're gonna do a little book studying today. Excuse me. So, the title of this one is what I start out with: Right thinkers, how Maya do you live? That's the question I'm gonna ask. But after going through it, uh, it's called, the title should be Ethical Conduct for Right Thinkers, based on the Maya philosophy. Okay, so let's talk about a few titles. The first thing is truth. In the boat that Rob cruises through the daytime, he got two other people with him in that boat. Mayat's at the bow, that's the front. She's clearing the way. Why? Because she's order. She represents truth. That's where we're starting. Mayat is right action, truth, okay, is understanding what? The nature of the divine, aka God. Using discernment, you know what? Right from wrong, as well as reality from unreality, reality from illusionary reality, which is false. But reality, aka, is what's real, aka P Funk, pure real. I'm always going to be in the real state of mind, so to speak. Now, let's talk about nonviolence, a concept that started way back with what? The philosophy of the first multi genius Imhotep, also the heretic king Akhenaten, and Ptahhotep, also, and other Commission sages know about approaching life in peace. Mahatma Gandhi, the peacemaker. We know about that, but we were doing this ancient times. So coming in peace and raising the hands up in peace or doing it, praising, but dua, but it means hands up, coming in peace. This didn't just start. The ancients taught us that a long time ago. So let's talk about right action. In order for you to perform right action, listen, you need to have self-control. That means defeating or conquering what? Your ego, aka set. Most people who are egoistic don't know they're egoistic, so they don't have a problem with their ego running them up. Why? Because it's working for them in certain areas of their life, so they let it do it. And by living, watch this, but by living in accordance with the teachings of right thinking philosophy, aka Maya, teaches integrity and honesty for every individual who practices the Maya philosophy. You have to have integrity. You have to be honest in your dealings. So let's talk about, first of all, right thinking. Excuse me, right speech. Right speech is speaking what you know, speaking from the heart, aka Makaru, the truth. And refraining from angry speech. When somebody says something, do something that we don't like, we're going to cuss. When your first reaction is to react by that, that means you don't have self-control, under control. I'm still practicing and trying to perfect that. So I know it's a problem for everybody, even me. So yeah, I'm working on it also. But the whole purpose is when you refrain from angry speech, and you act accordingly, now you can do what I call right worship. That's the correct practice of a religion, including any religion, includes devotional practice, chanting, meditation, and you should be donating to your place of worship, your church or temple, aka the place of worship. When I go to church, I'm always going to have money for the offering for the plate. I don't give the 10% of my earnings, no, but I do bring something to the temple because I'm coming to get something. So I bring something to help the temple, help the church, pay the bills, the overhead. So I'm not caught up in that concept or 10%. No, no, I know it ain't free. So understand that. But the word thing, when you cheating God, let me give you a quick lesson. If you're in church service and it's time to give an offering, and you decide, well, I got a box of cigarettes, I might want to get a drink or whatever it is you do. So you're looking out for you. That's shorting God philosophically and spiritually. Why? If you're in the house of worship, you should bring donation to the house. You come to get something, you should bring something. Ancient times, they bought food, they bought animals, what offerings. You got to bring something to get something. That's just the way it is. With the next one is, what's a selfless service? Right thinking philosophy is based on this concept. You offer your service to who? Humanity. That includes, listen, taking care of the homeless. I work on Wednesday. I'm on the streets to help the homeless get things that they need. The clothless, I donate to people who need the clothes. And I feed the hungry, the needy, not the greedy. I know who is in need. I know who's just being greedy. So I'm comfortable with what I do, knowing what to do and how when I'm doing it. A lot of people talk about it. I live it. I be about it. In the words of my man Ron, his ministry, say that and be about that. I love that. But there's a big shoes to fill, I can tell you. But as long as you can fulfill it, 'cause I think right thinking is the big shoes to fill. So I understand. What you do is what you do. Let's go. Now, my philosophy is having balance. You see me do this all the time. That's paying respect to her because that's what it represents, balance. And balance of the mind, having rational logic and reasoning, right thinking, aka is keeping your mind in balance so you know how to react, when to react, and what to react to, so that you don't lose, watch this, your faculties of rational cognition. That means you keep your thought processes on the same level. When somebody upsets you, a lot of times it go and come down. You can keep it flatline, so to speak. That's having control of your emotions. That's being in control and acquiescing to situations that not all the time comfortable. Okay? Maybe not to your likings, but you deal with them the same way you deal with the ones that's to your likings. That's becoming balanced and having anonymity of the situations. Watch this. Now, this means that you have to what? Focus and pay attention. Be mindful to keep and maintain what? Self-control to do what? To prevent and eradicate your egoistic tendencies. Everything that we represent as righteous and divine has to be dealt with by taking care of your egoistic thoughts and tendencies that will lead you down the wrong path. Selfishness, egoistic conceit, all those qualities that you ego will inquire if you allow it, and it would just get worse and worse. It would build to where it will actually overcome you, overtake you, be the death of you. Okay, so your egoistic tendencies of your mind based on being arrogant, conceited, self-important, greed, all those egoistic, etc. These are things that the ego lives on. And that's what happens to people who live egoistic concepts and don't know themselves. These are all the reasons why. Now, let's talk about living my yacht every day and how to keep the philosophy, my concept, excuse me. Living my yacht every day is how to keep set away. That's your ego personality. The idle mind is a devil workshop. So if you're not thinking of nothing particular, if your mind is focused on what it is you're trying to do, that's the idle mind, and the devil will get busy. That's called drifting. If you drift out of focus and spiritually get caught up in something else, you are a victim of the devil. And what he'll do, he'll steal what? Your joy. So let's talk about stealing. Okay. Not stealing, that's part of the Ten Commandments. Stealing, watch this, is a social disruptive practice. Some people steal for a living. They practice, they get good at it, and they do that. Now, That denotes what? The degraded level of human consciousness, and it reinforces the what? Ignorance of having worldly possessions and desirous to have things that brings you pleasure. And the whole time seeking as well. You want pleasure, but as well, you're just greedy and you can never satisfy those lustful desires of the flesh. If you're driven by your lower nature, it's something about them girls, it's something about that you just can't resist. That's being weak. That's being lower nature living. Raise your consciousness. I could care less about that at this point in my life. But when we are young, yeah, been there, done that too. But don't let that be the prerequisite for you to destroy everything that you got, doing the right thing, and let that lead you down again the wrong path. So I'm trying to stay calm and relax. When you become, let's talk about sex sublimation also. That's a powerful force. And it's going to tell you sexuality is one of the primal, most powerful forces of nature. But watch this, which must be controlled. The most powerful force of nature, every individual must have the wherewithal to be able to what? Control that force of nature. It must be controlled, just like your ego self set, in order to allow your higher personality, aka to discover yourself, is higher self, consciously in life. You have to conquer, control the ego. Control your lower nature. See, it's a lot more easier when you get at my age of life to say that. But 35, 40-year-old man, you should have control of your lower nature. Come on, man. I can see a 20-year-old kid. Yeah, remember, you got 20 years of a normal sex life. So where's that at? Then you got 10 years in your 30s to monkey around. Okay, that's even accepted. But then you're going to spend the next 10 years lying about your exploits, and that's not good. And the next 10 years, you're going to spend making the ass out of yourself, trying to do something that you didn't do 30 years ago. Let it go. You can't bring back the past. Understand that? So if you're still living for sexual pleasures, you're never going to raise your consciousness to be a better you. Your life will be constantly centered around what you do. And that goes both sides, male and female. I don't discriminate. I don't split hairs. No, it's equal distribution. It's fair for both sides. Man, ain't just all men. No, women got their faults too, just like anybody else. Let's wrap this up. Let me wrap this up. Excuse me. The Maya offering, the highest offer you can give by acting, living, right thinking philosophy, alone, being righteous, and attaining attaining virtue. The highest, aka supreme offering, is made through the Maya offering, in which, watch this, you, the person making the offering, enters into a meditative state of mind of awareness through what? The rituals, and sees him or herself as becoming one with Maya, aka God, the supreme good, the divine. He stands on Maya, and that gives me the same ability to stand on what I know is right and balance in life. That's what it's all about. And this is the Maya principles of ethical conduct in life, aka right thinking philosophy, ethical codes of being a right thinker. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. Hope you got something out of it. I'll be back.